The first round doesn't hit you. It hits the wall behind your head, then the mirror, then the can of cooking spray on the kitchen counter. In half a second, the room you thought was cover becomes a blender of glass shards, a blinding chemical cloud, and a jet of flame from a punctured aerosol that just found the pilot light. Most people stage their rifle and call it home defense. They never look at the flat screen television, the lithium battery charger, or the fire extinguisher and see what a single stray bullet turns them into. Subscribe so you never miss this. Stay for number 8, the safety device that becomes a blinding yellow wall of respiratory cement the moment a round cracks through its shell. Landmine 1. The flat screen television and glass shelves. You think that wall-mounted flat screen and the tempered glass entertainment stand are furniture. They are not. They are pre-staged fragmentation mines. A single bullet passing through tempered glass doesn't just crack it. It shatters the entire pane into a cloud of tiny cube-shaped, razor-edged fragments that fan out across the room at ballistic speed. These fragments don't show up on an X-ray easily. They blind. They lacerate the arms and neck you were using to aim. The flat screen is worse. The impact shorts the capacitors inside, and the residual charge can arc, igniting the plastic housing while glass dust hangs in the air you're breathing. Most people will take cover behind the couch, facing the television, and never once look at the glass coffee table between them and the door. You will strip the room. Flat screens get laid face down before any confrontation. Glass shelves get cleared or draped with heavy blankets that catch the shrapnel. The living room is not a set piece. It is a kill zone dressed as comfort. See the glass as an enemy warhead, waiting for a fuse, a bullet, is that fuse. Remove the glass or remove yourself from its blast radius. Landmine 2. Aerosol cans, air freshener, WD-40 cooking spray. Open the cabinet under your kitchen sink. The cleaning sprays. The can of cooking oil. The WD-40 you brought in from the garage, a bullet through an aerosol. Can doesn't just leak. It punctures a pressurized hydrocarbon bomb, whose propellant is frequently butane or propane. The escaping gas mixes instantly with the room's air. The spark from a ricochet off a metal stud, the ignition of the furnace kicking on, the muzzle flash from the next round. Any of these turns that invisible gas cloud into a deflagration that rolls through the enclosed space. Best case, a momentary blowtorch sears the walls. Worst case, it finds the gas line of your stove and the room lifts off its foundation. Most people stage cleaning chemicals exactly where a penetrating round through the kitchen wall can strike them. You will pull those cans out, relocate them to a low, sealed metal container, or outside the expected firing lanes entirely. An aerosol can in a gunfight is not a household supply. It is a pressure vessel waiting for an excuse to become a fireball. Landmine 3. The propane tank, grill, or heater. The 20-pound tank sitting on the patio, or the emergency heater tank in the corner of the garage. Most people think it will Hollywood explode from a bullet. It won't. No spark, no explosion, but a bullet through the valve body or the neck of the tank unleashes a jet of compressed liquid propane that flash expands into a room-filling cloud of gas, 600 times its liquid volume. You cannot see it. You can smell it only if the odorant has not faded. Then a spark, a drywall screw grinding under a boot. A light switch flipped in panic. The room doesn't just burn, it pressure waves and drops. The tank itself, if punctured in the side, can skid across the floor as an unguided rocket propelled by its own escaping gas. Most people have a propane tank exactly where a home invader might take cover. If you cannot remove it, you will know it's there and not fire toward it. The propane tank is not a grill accessory. It is a passive gas weapon in your own defense space. Landmine 4. Large mirrors and glass picture frames. The hallway mirror. The oversized wall art behind the couch. The sliding closet doors you haven't touched in years. They are not decorations. They are passive reconnaissance tools for an intruder and optical traps for you. A mirror reflects movement and light. In a gunfight, ambient light from a window, your weapon light, or even the muzzle flash itself bounces off that glass and paints your silhouette perfectly for the person you are trying to flank. While you are moving through the dark, the intruder simply watches the reflection in the corner of the hallway and waits. Worse. Mirrors shatter identically to glass shelves. A stray round turns them into airborne scalpels. Most people never think about sight lines in their own home. You will walk your house tonight with the lights off and a dim flashlight. See where the light bounces. See which mirrors catch your own reflection from the entry point. Then drape heavy blankets over them. Remove them entirely, or angle furniture to break the reflective path. An undraped mirror in a shootout is not vanity. It is a live broadcast of your position. Landmine 5, lithium-ion batteries, power tools, vape pens, phones on charge. Your cordless drill sits on the workbench. Your kid's vape pen charges on the kitchen island. Your backup phone battery bank rests in your go bag. A lithium-ion cell punctured by a bullet does not leak and die gracefully. It instantly enters a state called thermal runaway. The internal separator is breached, the anode and cathode short. The temperature spikes to over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit in under a second. The cell self-oxidizes, meaning it generates its own oxygen. Water does not extinguish it. A fire extinguisher does not stop it. It burns until the lithium is consumed, spitting molten metal fragments and thick white hydrogen fluoride gas that scars your lungs. In tight quarters where you are already pinned and returning fire, an erupting battery pack becomes a secondary inferno you cannot put out. Most people stage phones and tools on chargers exactly where a bullet entering through the sidewall strikes the counter. You will not stage lithium devices in fire lanes. Store them in metal ammo cans or ceramic pots away from where you'd take cover. The lithium battery is the only enemy in the room that feeds itself oxygen. Landmine 6. The pressurized water heater. The tall white cylinder in the garage, the utility closet, or the basement. You walk past it every day. A standard residential water heater holds 40 to 80 gallons of water under pressure between 40 and 60 psi and maintains it at 120 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. A stray bullet through the outer jacket and the inner steel tank does not just spill water. It releases the pressure differential instantly. The water flashes into steam as the structural integrity fails. The steel tank can rupture along its seam, peeling open like a sardine can and slinging shrapnel-grade metal across the room. The steam itself is a scalding cloud that fills a tight space in seconds. If you are behind cover next to the tank, when a round hits at the tank, you are now fighting a steam burn and shrapnel wound, while an intruder still presses. Most people think the water heater is just an appliance. It is a pressure vessel maintaining a delicate equilibrium. A bullet shatters that equilibrium violently. Identify where your water heater sits relative to your defensive positions. If it's in a known firing lane, a stack of heavy sandbags or a relocated defensive posture is the only fix. The ticking cylinder is not your friend. Landmine 7. Loose ammunition. Not in a firearm. The box of pistol rounds sitting on the nightstand shelf. The loose shotgun shells rolling in a kitchen drawer. A spare magazine on the workbench. Ammunition outside a firearms chamber is not inert. A bullet striking the primer dead-on can cause a cook-off. The primer detonates. The powder ignites. The brass case ruptures with no barrel to direct the pressure. The bullet itself barely moves, lacking a sealed breech to build velocity. But the brass case becomes the real projectile. It peels open like a tiny grenade, spraying brass fragments and burning powder granules in a 3-foot radius. A peppering of hot metal to the eyes, the neck, the hands. Not instantly fatal, but blinding and disorienting in the middle of a firefight when every second is a gunshot. Most people stage ammunition loose and proud, thinking it looks ready. You will keep every round that is not in a magazine sealed in an ammo can with the lid latched. Thin steel walls contain a cook-off and redirect the explosive force upward, not outward into your face. Loose ammo is not decoration. It is a primer with a target painted on it. Landmine 8. The dry chemical fire extinguisher. The red canister mounted next to the stove or the furnace. It exists to stop fires. Most people see it hanging there and register safety. A bullet through a dry chemical extinguisher does not disable it. It instantly converts it into a room-flooding yellow-white fog weapon. The pressurized monoammonium phosphate inside bursts out as a thick, choking, blinding cloud that fills every cubic foot of the room in seconds. The powder coats your eyes, your throat, and your weapon's action. You cannot see the intruder. You cannot breathe without gagging. Your firearm, now dusted in fine corrosive chemical grit, risks a stoppage with the next round. Meanwhile, the intruder simply moves toward the sound of your coughing. Most people mount extinguishers exactly where a kitchen breach happens, creating a chemical smokescreen that benefits the attacker, not the defender. You will leave an extinguisher accessible for fire emergencies, but you will not place it in the middle of your defensive firing lane. If a round strikes it, you now have two enemies, the intruder and the cloud that took your sight away. Here is the reality that the tactical industry will never print on a plate carrier. The deadliest thing in your home during a gunfight is not the intruder. It's the flat-screen television, the can of cooking spray, the lithium battery on the charging dock, the mirror reflecting your movement. The water heater ticking in the corner, the loose box of ammo on the shelf, and the fire extinguisher that turns a room into a blinding chemical fog. Your house is not a bunker. It is a gallery of secondary hazards that a single stray round can activate into fragmentation mines, gas clouds, and thermal runaway infernos. Most people stage a rifle and call the room secure. You will strip the fire lanes, drape the glass, relocate the aerosols, ammo can, the lithium. Know exactly where the propane tank and water heater sit relative to your defensive positions. Survival does not reward the fastest trigger finger. It rewards the mind that mapped the landmines before the first shot cracked the drywall. Now, drop a comment and tell me this. Look around the room you are sitting in right now. Name the first object your eyes land on that would become a landmine if a bullet hit it. Write it in the comments, then fix it. And in the next video, we are leaving the home interior and moving outside to the perimeter. The 5 silent alarms you can build from trash that alert you to an intruder before they ever touch a door handle. I'll see you there.